The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. You landed here and it's no mistake. You best believe this could be your break. Rub-a-dub-dub, check out the hubs inside. A winning team is here to be your guide. Oh, my friend, you've been looking for a brand new day. I got good news, only a click away. You can click on any hub, 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 hub. You are sure to feel the love, 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 love. Got some stories in my book, hope you'll take the time and look. The message in this simple read: teens, young adults, help them succeed. Scroll on down, got more to say. Go blogs, let's take it away. And if you choose not to do a thing that will ever cause me not to win, when you know your worth, no need to beg. Selling with no pressure is more fun. Instead, financial freedom has been calling you. Come join a hub, see what it will do. Come on and dance along with me. We going to the next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level. 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 Next level with Keith. The next level. The next level. The next level. Next level with Keith. And if you choose not to do a thing that will ever cause me not to win, when you know your worth, no need to beg. Selling with no pressure is more fun. Instead, the next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith.
Welcome to the next level with Keith, where clarity replaces confusion and simple systems lead to real freedom. Every episode begins with intention, music that centers your mind, lifts your spirit, and prepares you for transformation. This is your space for growth, your place to reset, your moment to rise. Rethinking your thinking, because when you shift your mind, you shift your money. Stack and grow, where small intentional steps turn into lasting wins. Simple strategies, real progress. Your circle, your currency, because your network matters. Mobile money moves, business, income, and empowerment from the device in your pocket. This isn't just talk, it's guidance, it's strategy, it's movement. Welcome to the next level with Keith. Let's begin.
Welcome to another Monday night. Welcome to the next level with Keith, podcast episode 17. It's going by real fast and I'm loving it. Yes, so welcome again. I want to thank all the partners, thank those who are just really making it happen. Those behind the scene, you viewers who you comment and you just respond and leave your amazing, encouraging notes. And I appreciate those. I'm truly thankful for those of you who are listening from way of YouTube, whether it's Amazon Radio, whether it's Spotify, whether it's just your, you know, your podcast. Some folks like to listen, some folks like to watch and listen, and some folks just like to go and recap and listen the next day because they may have a kind of a schedule, like that. So with all that, I am overall thankful for all of you, all right, who helped to make this happen. And I'm truly excited to share this Monday night with you. Tonight we got a very interesting layout, interesting show. And if you notice that from time to time, you may see things move around a little bit, some things a little, some little twists here and twists there and little stuff to kind of keep you looking and keep you engaged. All right. So we don't stay stagnant. We always thinking innovation, innovative, and just making it fun at the same time and not being overly serious. All right. We are in serious times. We are living in very serious times. And I look at the world and I would sometimes wonder, how can I affect the world? What can I do in my little corner? Right? What can I do to affect the world in a positive way? All right. I'm not a politician. All right. I'm not labeled as a preacher. I'm not labeled as a some guru. All right. Um, and I think, what can I do? And I realize that there's a market and there is an audience. And I would say they pretty much range from age 40 to 60. And I think that's the market and that's the audience that sometimes get lost. All right. They sometimes get forgotten and sometimes they feel forgotten. All right. They have enough strength, they have enough life, they have enough imagination, but somehow the way the world is like they're caught between the middle. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm now 40, 50, 60. My parents, if they're alive, are maybe in the 80s, 90s, maybe, right? Early 70s, and they're trying to take care of their parents and trying to make sure the parents are okay. And when about their kids are coming up at the same time. And so they have to find this balance. And a lot of times they're stretched physically, emotionally, financially, because sometimes they're carrying weights on both sides. The young ones coming up and the older ones going out. And it's a very tricky time of the the time of life for that particular audience, the age 40 to 60. And I fall within the category myself. So I said, if I can appeal to that audience, if I can just connect with them and empower them, then I think a part of my job, I would say, is being done. All right. And this is one of the methods I use. I use digital tools and first get with a digital network. All right. Experts in the field, those who know how to make it work, those who know how to maneuver things and make me look good. Right. And so with that, I said, let me go forth. And that's what I'm doing now. So, whether through the blogs, whether it's through the YouTube channel, whether you see some clippings on TikTok or Reels or podcasts, or whether you see it on my podcast here, the message pretty much is saying the same thing. It's really saying empowerment. It is saying, you know what? Yes, the world is getting crazy. And one of the ways that people are concerned is the economic situation that we're seeing taking place. All right. And you have folks who feel as if they have been very much disenfranchised when money can be used for so many other things that seemingly was not there. All right. But now your folks, went about their health care, went about their jobs, went about things that probably shouldn't have been the case. But unfortunately, it is the case. So hopefully, here on the next level with Keith, those of you are looking for something because not everyone is looking for something. A lot of folks are online just for entertainment purposes, right? You like to scroll and laugh and get those ongoing, I call it thrills, all right, and fills, and that works for you. This might not be the platform for you, but if you're someone looking for something, maybe you're a little intimidated by technology, you feel that it's somewhat leaving you behind, you feel that you don't know how to really center yourself because there's so many things coming at you, and every other day or week or two, so, excuse me, something new pops up. All right, so you wonder where can I find myself? How can I get myself centered so I can begin something to build something for myself and for my family? So this is one of the places where you can find a home where you can get the help you need, the support you need. All right, because what I'm experiencing is what I want you to experience: support, teamwork, network, good coaching, good mentorship. All right. And those are things that will spearhead you into success. So tonight, as I said, we have a very interesting show. And, when I was younger, young kid, I actually remember this movie about Superman. And they used to say, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Superman, right? Coming to the rescue. So tonight's topic is, all right, tonight's topic is it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's streaming. You like that? You like that? It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's streaming. You're probably thinking, what is he talking about, huh? What's he talking about? Well, you know, rethinking, change, adapt, or what? Collapse. I really want nobody here to collapse. We're going to adapt. All right. So, first, you believe that it's possible. Don't feel like you're trapped and you're too old to learn enough. Sometimes you may not learn a lot. You just need enough to get there. And I've been on trips before where I'm going about doing my gigs, right? I play the horn, some of you may know. And there are times when I'm leaving out and I didn't get gas to go to that event. But I realized that on my way, I have enough to get there. Now, when I get there, it's going to be low, but at least I know I have enough to get there. Yes, I would like to be a full tank, but the point is that what's most important is that I get there and I have enough to get there. So sometime in life, all we need is enough to get there. So, yes, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's streaming. Now, let's take it back a little bit, right? Let's take it back a little bit. Those of you 40s to 60s, all right? I'm sure you remember the days when we had the eight tracks. All right, the eight tracks. A lot of kids today have no clue what that is. Eight track. How about the cassette tape? A lot of kids today, I've never even seen what it looks like. Those Walkman days, those Walkman and those boombox days, the boombox. All right, those days when it's like life was simple. All right, and we see now how it has changed and what happened after the cassette era. Here comes what? The CD. CD showed up. All right. It was like, wow, right? It was more efficient. You could put more on the CD. It was more just smoother. It, you didn't worry about the tape burst or stretched. All right. The CD was cleaner and just smaller. You could carry a lot more products on you with you than the cassette. All right. And then, you know, it's almost like overnight. Now we're looking at what? Shift, another major shift, and that is streaming. Now I'll give you an interesting story about CDs and streaming. Now, I have a band, we recorded, and I remember we had tapes and CDs. And in those days, we used to sell CDs for like $10 USD, right? $10. And CDs $15, sometimes 20. And I remember us doing shows, and you have, say, 100 CDs or maybe a little more, and have those CDs sell out after you perform. That's pretty cool cash you're walking away with. You're walking away with, right? You sell 100 CDs, all right, and tapes, $10 for tapes and 15 or 20 for CDs. You're walking away with some pretty good cash in your pocket. Back then, you sell 30,000 CDs, 50,000 CDs, or cassettes. You're doing pretty well, right? As an independent artist, all right. And we've gone to places before where we sold out everything, and it was great. But when I think about how it has changed from that, and the thing is that we got it at the tail end of it. We weren't selling CDs for too long before the streaming came out. I mean, it came out. So we got it at the tail end of it. So for those who had CDs when they first came out, maybe they had albums, three, four, five albums before they came out with CDs. And imagine they converted all their albums to CDs. A lot of these folks made a lot of money just on selling CDs at their live shows. So here comes now the streaming. And it's like you go to these shows, folks not buying CDs anymore. In fact, a lot of these cars that we have now, there's no CD player in those cars. So folks are not buying CDs like that anymore. All right. And so therefore that sale that you would get at the live shows kind of disappeared. That was the fun. All right. The point is that changes are always taking place, if you notice. And you were 40 to 60 have seen many changes over the years. You've seen it in front of your eyes. And at this point in time is when we need to realize that, yes, a change is not just coming, it's already here. All right, it's already here. So here's the truth. Like I was saying earlier, the shift doesn't happen overnight. All right. People just didn't notice until it was late. See, they didn't notice until it was late. Now, guess what? Here we go again. Here we go again. This time it's AI. All right. AI, digital platforms, mobile income. The question isn't, is change coming? That's not the question we're thinking about right now. The question is this: will you move with it? Will you capitalize on the change? Or will you just miss it? Will it pass you by? All right. And that is where we think your thinking comes into play. All right. So let's bring it home. Let's make it real. Make it real. Look at Blockbuster. A lot of you know Blockbuster, right? Um, Giant company, huge conglomerate. All right. They didn't fail because they were weak or because they didn't have money. That's not why they failed. They failed because they were comfortable. Like many of us right now, we're comfortable with a job, we're comfortable with that routine, very comfortable, and we don't realize that we don't want to be surprised. We don't want to be shocked at overnight changes. All right. And so, because they were comfortable and because of what they did not do or fail to do, here comes a company like Netflix. All right. With the streaming idea and knocked them out. Now, where is Blockbuster now? All right. Look at Kodak. Kodak didn't fail because they lacked innovation. They failed because they ignored their own future. All right. And that's a reality. And many of us do. And so I refuse to get myself in that situation where I ignore the future, get comfortable, and then wonder what happened. All right. So comfort feels safe, right? It feels good, right? Until what? Until it costs everything. Until it costs you everything. And I'm sure that's not what you want to happen, right? So I've seen this in my own journey, right? This is something I can be transparent about. There are moments where I had to choose what between what I knew and what was next, right? I had to choose what I knew and what was next. And every time I choose growth, even when it wasn't comfortable, it opened doors I didn't even know existed. I'll give an example. I remember one time I was at an event because when I started doing my live events to perform out the different functions, I had to use CD players, those small CD players, and every once in a while it would skip. It would skip, and kind of mess up, but very minute. But at the time, it was to me very ready. It was, hard. I could hold it in my hands. I could hold the device. I could just press a button, and there I am. And I remember I went to a very, call it high-end event, right? Very classy. I think it was a country club event. And I was there playing my CD. I'm playing the backing track to my CD player, and it started skipping. Oh my God. And it wouldn't continue playing. It would just keep skipping, and keep repeating the same part of that music over and over again. I'm like, oh no, because I didn't upgrade to where I use MP3 or MP4. That doesn't skip at all. It's more digital, right? And I'm like, oh boy. And that for me was like a wake up call to see what had happened on that particular event. I said, no, they got to change. So I started thinking, let me prepare myself. And I harassed my brother. Because, I mean, at the time, I mean, he's like a genius, you know, and anything I wanted as far as music, I would go to him and it would get it for me in the right way, and email me some stuff, and I would have it in that MP format. And ever since then, never had an issue with skipping, stopping, and that kind of thing. And that was good. All right. So I learned that although I was comfortable with the CD, on the CD player, it did cost me something. All right. So we don't want to get in the point in our lives where we could have done something about it. And because we didn't, then now we're paying the price for it. That's not okay. All right. So we know that there are things that we can do, practical shifts, right? So ask yourself daily, something you can always just think and ponder on. What am I holding on to that's already changing? What am I holding on to that's already changing? Very important. And this is where I think, it sets us up to start to make a decision on what we're going to do. Sometimes it begins with a question. Talk to yourself. A lot of folks think if you talk to yourself, you're crazy. You're right. You can sing to yourself, you can dance, but you can't talk to yourself. I don't get the math. All right. But talk to yourself and, see what answer comes up because those answers may be what you need to do. All right. So, yes, you already have been stacking and growing for a while. A lot of you don't even know that. You've been stacking, you've been growing for a while, but you probably don't even know that. Right. So let's kind of simplify this. Let's break it down into bite size here. Right. So you don't need complicated plan. All right. You don't need something that's going to be, hair raising and just all these long weeks of studies and trying.
The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith.
Yes, you heard me. That's what I'm talking about. Stacking and growing is a big part of what we need to understand that's been taking place and how we're going to now unearth those things. All right. And start to what? Make it come to life. All right. So, like I say, you don't need anything complicated. Look at 5 simple steps to start today. All right. Simply can start right now. 5 simple steps to start today when you look at stack and grow. One, learn one digital skill. All right. Look at content, selling, or communication. Something that you probably never did before. Give it a shot. And don't worry about it being perfect and how it's going to turn out. Just one digital skill and see what happens. Two, use free platforms like YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, or LinkedIn. All right. How about create an account? All right. Create an account. Sometimes when you do that one activity, you may say, wow, it's not as hard as I thought it was. I remember when I first thought about having a YouTube channel, this is years ago. And in my mind, it seemed like a very big task, like a YouTube channel. It just seemed like a whole lot was involved. And I asked around, I asked around, I asked around. I practically begged to somebody. And this one guy just told me, oh, it's like this. And I was like, is that straightforward? Is that simple? I could not believe it. And when I did that, my first YouTube channel, I was like, wow. I felt like I'd walked a mile. You know what I'm saying? And it was a good feeling. Number three, show up consistently 3 to 5 times per week. A lot of you may like a particular program, all right, or something that you think is important. Do it 3 to 5 times per week, right? Just take that initiative. And in that doing, you're telling yourself, listen to me, it requires me engaging because a big part of your success is going to involve engagement. Really, really, that's one of the most fundamental things. And I've heard a wise man said, very wealthy man says, showing up is just about 80% of the job. Just to show up, right? And most people, that's where they fail they fail to show up. Four, reinvest small earnings, even $20 can improve your system. All right, a lot of you spend $20 on different, I call it subscription. What is, different video streaming? It could be Hulu, or some of you do Netflix or Showtime, or there's a bunch of them out there. And I know people that are on three or four of those things that I know, and they don't even watch them. They're spending what, 80, $90 a month on just subscriptions that they're not even watching. Plus, they have Amazon again because they want the package faster. I'm not knocking that, but I'm saying the fact is that how is that enhancing your life financially? All right. When there are things you can spend less than $20 and change your financial situation. Literally, there are things right now that can change your life for less than $20. That's phenomenal. All right. And you say, how do you know? Well, because I know. All right. And so doing a show like this is to let you know that someone is trying to make it easier for you to get to, opposed to you digging. We have what you call free money Wednesdays. All right. And that's a show that deals with grants, that deal with how you can get grants. And when I watch a show, I'm so intrigued and appreciative of that show because somebody's going hunting for grants and they're saying for the month of maybe January or February or March or April or May, look what's coming. Grant for females, grant for males, grant for whatever it is for big business, small business. To me, I think that's really phenomenal. Right? It's within this network here. All right. Because like I said, we are interlock. We like cross pollinate here. All right. So when you come here, you can walk away with something really, really massive because of how it is built. It's built for you to come in and maximize and get the benefit of where you may see yourself, where you may feel you're aligned with. You may feel a certain pull towards certain things, um, and so forth. So that's something that we want you to understand here at at next level with Keith is that there's a place that can kind of give you the comfortability, all right, amongst the noise and the different things that's going on, where you can really just get centered and kind of just get focused and just start the journey. And that's the idea here. And number five is track weekly progress, what worked and what didn't. All right. So one, learn one digital skill, content, selling, or communication, right? In those areas. Two, use free platforms like YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, or LinkedIn, right? To begin something that may be new to you. Uh, Three, show up consistently 3 to 5 times per week. Four, reinvest small earnings, even $20 can improve your system, your life. Uh, Five, track weekly progress, what worked, what didn't. Now, a lot of folks really don't care for social media, and I get it. You don't care for YouTube, you don't care to be on these platforms, you don't mind watching or engaging, but you don't feel the need to be actively engaged as such. And that's fine. Some of you just want to just make an extra income online, right? Where you're not necessarily too engaged, it's not too time consuming, it's not overwhelming, it's not complicated. All right. Well, that also is there for you. All right. And that's why you hear me talk about my hubs. All right. The Family Freedom Hub. You might have heard me talk about that already. If you're new, then now you know. Family Protection Hub. There are things in that hub that can protect your family in different ways. As a matter of fact, I ran into a video that talked about the new scam that's taking place using Zelle. And a lot of you might be watching now here in the States. You know that most banks have Zelle as one of their methods where you can send payment and receive payment without an interest, without a charge for that transaction. So it's a very popular, commonly used platform. However, scammers have been using that platform and they've been, scamming so many hundreds of people, and they keep on getting more advanced and more complex with their methods. And there's a late one that they just came out with, and I think I wanted to have it posted in my family protection hub, right? Where you can go and look at that hub and get information there how to protect your family. All right, as you can see on the screen, family protection hub. All right, uh, there's the legal things that you can look at as well. Legal things to protect your family. That's family protection hub. I have a hub that deals with what um passive income. All right, passive income, where you're not strapped. All right, you're not strapped to trying to worry about building teams, being a manager, being a supervisor, being a director. Passive mean that yes, your work is needed, but it's very minimal. But it overall gives you that sense of freedom. All right, because of how it is built. All right, there are old methods and there are new methods, and so this is where if you've seen that there's a new way. A lot of us old folks, we are so busy dealing with life, dealing with kids, dealing with our parents, as I mentioned earlier, and just have so much going on. A lot of us have two jobs, some three. How you do it, I don't know. But the reality is that having a passive income like the ones I'm aware of, man, it's sweet. It's very, very, very nice. All right. And so those are things that I want to present to you because sometimes, you know, the way things are going now, I talked about one of my show and asked about your plan B. How is that going? Have you looked at your plan B? Have you started working your plan B already? Some folks, they're trying to get to a point of having 6 months of cash emergency funds. They're working on it. So folks are working on their credit score to give them more option. They can get things for a lot less interest, rate on it, and so forth. So things are curated here. I talk about my protection here with my book that I wrote. That is supposed to be a good segue to helping parents. Um, I would say empower their kids with some, I would say, important things to think about, consider, especially kids who are like in high school, about to go to college, things like those. And so I kind of give it a one-stop shop for families around the globe. And the one thing I like about being online, why I admire and appreciate the power of digital and platforms such as this, is because there are people, unlike you and I, will never ever come to America. They will never ever get here physically. All right, and some would like to. The reality is that the way the world is now situated, folks who are interested, searching, they can go online and they can get here, no matter where you are in the world. And to me, that's a beautiful thing. All right. So my passion was always to what? Reach as many as possible. All right. I really have a mass kind of idea because many things online is solar driven. Excuse me. There's some water here. All right. 1 second here. Mm, nothing like water.
The next level, the next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith.
This moment is for builders, visionaries, and brands with purpose. If you want access, alignment, and momentum, not just motivation, this is your step forward. Join the next level with Keith channel members. Whether you're a freedom chaser, freedom supporter, next level insider, or next level builder, this is where growth gets structure and community becomes currency. And for partners with a mission, we don't just promote brands. We position purpose. Bring your cause, your company, your message, and let's amplify it with intention and impact. Membership opens the door. Partnership
Women and Men of Excellence Outreach Ministries is a global church without walls. We're serving
Mount Vernon, it's time. Stand behind leadership that puts literacy, integrity, and community first. Support Apostle Dr. Faith A. Walters for Library Trustee, a proven leader building stronger minds and brighter futures. Vote May 19, 2026. Learn more at wamo.org/faith for library trustee. Join us in supporting a leader who prioritizes literacy and integrity. Dr. Faith A. Walters has a vision for our libraries. Every vote counts. Together we can make a difference.
Stop guessing. Start managing your people with confidence. If your business is growing, but your HR systems aren't, you're already feeling it. Miscommunication, burnout, turnover, and costly mistakes. The HR Resource Toolkit at sandrinedunkley.com/toolkit is your solution. This toolkit gives you practical HR tools you can use immediately. No fluff, no confusion, just structured, actionable support. Whether you're overwhelmed, under-resourced, or ready to level up, this is where you start. Access the toolkit now. sandrinedunkley.com/toolkit. HIDC, where structure meets strategy. People meet performance.
Yes. Welcome back to our podcast. So far, I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're getting some good stuff down to think about and ponder on, right? And make that move. I've heard this statement. You said the closest five people that you are close to is a big impact in where you are and where you're going to go in life. I think the closest five people. Watch that. Now, have you ever actually sat down and thought about it and figure out who are those five people that are considered closest to me? People I think about mostly, talk to mostly, and think about what are the conversations like, all right? Where does it go? What's it like when the conversation is finished with these people? How do you feel? So you think about your circle, think about your currency, man. Think about your circle and your currency. What is that about? What is that? How does this circle make it happen for you? So let's talk about people. Most people, they stay stuck not because they lack ability, not because they're not intuitive or smart, all right, but because they lack exposure. I spoke to a lady about a week and a half ago, and we're talking, and I mentioned about I did some traveling, many states outside the country. It was like I never left the Bronx. I only know the Bronx. I'm like, wow, interesting. All right. Now, a lot of places in the world, the Bronx is pretty big, but in real time, as far as exposure, it's good to get out there, all right? And just, I guess that's why traveling is such a powerful thing because when you travel, you really get to see firsthand and feel firsthand, you know? There's something about that. Seeing people operate in different ways, different places, and it really opens your mind. But think of your circle as pretty much your everyday community. All right. What are they saying to you when you do something? When you mention about an idea that you have, I've talked about in the past where many years ago I used to talk to maybe like a husband or the wife separately because they were there at the moment to have a conversation. But I learned that it's best to talk to the couple if they're married or if they're dating or they're close that way, because you can talk to the wife or the husband and they can have great confidence and belief and ready to go. They go home and say, honey said, we ain't doing that. Whatever it is, it gets shut down. Right? So a lot of times it's best to speak to both people at the same time. And then from there you can take it from there. But the persons who are around you really have a big effect on you and your decisions. All right. I know for me, there are folks, uh, some are close family and some are distant family, some are just people I know. And because I've done the online stuff for many years, and they probably didn't see what they thought they should see. They didn't see that outward success, so to speak, right? They would come to a conclusion, which I do understand. I get it, right? And so you may hear some negative or not inspiring responses or discouraging responses. Show me the money, right? I haven't seen nothing yet. Where is it? You know, and I get it. I do get it because we in a world where you think about the job, even though the wages may be low, it's predictable. Next 2 weeks I get paid. Next 2 weeks I get paid again. I say even though it's low, because it's predictable, folks say, well, that works for me. All right, they're struggling still, but that works for them because it's predictable money. But sometimes you're building something that may not be so, excuse me, so predictable, but it can be massive. And I remember doing research on people who dropped out of college and went on their own, did their own entrepreneurship journey, and so many of them are successful. And they know that if they had stayed that course, a regular course like everybody else, they might have not reached where they are now. They follow that so-called systematic approach. You go to school, you learn a trade or learn a skill or career, then you find a job. They know they'll probably be miserable. But having your circle that's supportive of you, and if they don't even agree with you, they will not use words that will be destructive to your soul, to your spirit, to your drive, to your hope. All right. And so your circle is really a big part of your currency. Got many people right now, they are stuck because of who is around them. Well, what will they think? What will he think? What will they say? All right. They'll say I'm crazy. They say, well, they're gonna mock me. And so many people, sadly, buy into that and they don't move, they don't initiate nothing for themselves. So it is something to want to consider because your circle is very, very, very important. Real talk. You could be one conversation from clarity, one connection away from opportunity, one mentor away from direction. I'm saying it again. You could be one conversation from clarity, one connection away from opportunity, one mentor away from direction. Just one. All right. And so there are practical things that you can do. There are practical moves you can make. So this week, right? I want you to do this. I want to join one new group. All right. Ask one question. How about that? Start one conversation. Join one group. Ask one question. Start one conversation. because silence keeps you stuck. All right, try it. So, looking at what this thing we call money, lately I'm hearing that the dollar is having some effect on it. And there are folks who are saying, hey, it's going to drop. Look at the world, look at the economy. All right, look at inflation about to take place. A lot of folks are saying a lot of things, and I can't say they're lying or they're wrong because many signs are pointing to such, where it's like the rich get richer and the poor gets poorer. And it seems like for those who don't find themselves centered there the right way are gonna find themselves in no man's land. All right, they're gonna find themselves in a very uncomfortable place for not preparing. It is one thing to talk about money and accessibility and stuff like the mobile phone that we have that we do so much on that phone. I named this section Mobile Money Moves for a reason. Here in the States, I remember days when we had free only nights at a certain time in the evening, as far as free data, free Wi-Fi, all right? They had to pay a lot more back then. Then they had other companies came in free nights and weekends. So there's more activity on the phone. There's more people talking, using the phone because it's free. They're paying less. There are countries right now when someone go on YouTube or on one of these platforms, they can't stay too long because it costs so much. When you like can go to videos after videos and scrolling on TikTok all day, hours. Some folks they can't do that. They wish they could. They can't. They don't have the means. Some don't have the funds, and sadly, some places don't even have the accessibility to it. All right. And when they get a little piece of it, oh man, they use it as of their knowledge. A lot of them they don't play. And I've worked with people overseas who wish they could have a little more access and they could stay longer on some of these platforms, these social platforms, and ways they could earn. But the problem is that they don't have a lot of folks don't have that luxury as we do here in the States. A lot of us don't have an excuse for not maximizing our mobile phones. We're not we're not really thinking, a lot of us, how much we have and how fortunate we have things. We're not thinking how important this device is and can be to our own financial increase. A lot of us are looking for a raise from the job when we can give ourselves a raise starting today. And I've given myself many raises. I right now have income coming more than 4 or 5 ways because of the phone. It may not be big, massive ways yet. It may not be this large amount yet, but that's what it's growing, right? That's the idea. And so I'm encouraging you, right, that this device that we have called a phone, it is remarkable. I mentioned to you some weeks ago in one of my podcasts that there were years ago when I used to go to my gigs and we didn't have the you know kind of technology with these apps and these different navigation systems. We did, and I remember downloading MapQuest and these things and trying to drive, and many times would almost get into an accident. Can't count. Trying to read and drive, trying to figure out what's next. Dangerous. And I remember how many gigs I turned down because they were late or it was too strange where it was. And when I printed off the address, I'm like, no, I'm not going there. To now where I can go anywhere, anytime, no matter day or night. Give me the address, I'll find you. So I maximize it on my phone and I go and do my events. Simple as that. So a lot of us, There are many things that we can do on the phone, but like I said, it's right there, a click away. This podcast, things are just a click away for you to go and see for yourself what's there. And I'm hoping that you'll do it. I know folks are really leaving stuff here and there, notes. If you're good, if you're okay, if you have it like that, you gotta go on, you gotta go on like that. Hey, kudos to you. But if you're looking for something, if you're really open, it is there for you to actually really just have a field day with it and just empower yourself. That's what I am about, and that's why I'm here with this particular podcast. Is how can I connect with the masses? I've done the hard stuff, I've done the difficult stuff, I've done things that require me building and having meetings, reminding people, calling people, almost to a point of harassing them, right? Getting frustrated and seeing very little outcome to now where I'm like, you know what? Hey, it's nice that I can do something and I can be okay without having all these people, but at the same time, they will feel the same way. They don't have to feel overwhelmed that they have to go and get all these people and all these work and all this kind of craziness run around. So what I want for myself, I want you to have it. All right. What I want for myself, I want you to have it. Right. If your phone, like this one says, is only for entertainment, you're missing something. And I think I mentioned last week that everywhere I go, folks are always on their phones. And I'm thinking, doing what? What are they doing? Some playing games, some doing all kind of things. All right. Entertainment, entertainment, entertainment all day long. So that's why I find it that if you find yourself on this show, I don't take it lightly at all. And I don't think you should take it lightly either. All right. I realized that before this show began, as far as my mentor and my my call it coach, we did a research to see if there's a need for a show like this. It wasn't just about, okay, I'm gonna just go on and do a show. It was important to see what this show would be speaking, what kind of effect it should be having or supposed to be having, because there's an audience that needs this, that's looking for this, right? And I see in a lot of my comments, I'm just a little concerned that a lot of you may not understand that is it is this for you, really for you. It's not just about entertaining you, it's really giving you access. All right. It's not where it's a call it you're just a spectator. You are part of this. You're part of this. And especially you, age 40 to 60, which is my sweet spot, kind of my age group that I'm really speaking to, we don't have a lot of time to really do a lot of adjustments. All right. I'm telling you, we don't have a lot of time. And I've done events where it was at elderly facilities and they weren't the ones you would consider the middle class or upper class income people. These are like poor folks who just need a place to stay. And they're pretty much left to the care of the city and left to the care of whatever is there. And yes, when I went there and I see the kind of living standards, I'm like, wow, I'm seeing all day long decisions, decisions, decisions. A lot of them is not because they had to be there, not because they wanted to be there. It was 10, 20 years ago. They were making decisions or they weren't making certain decisions that landed them there. And I've gone to the place where I've seen folks who are, you know, still older and have illnesses, but I'm telling you what they did in their earlier lives, right? You see them have a certain kind of lifestyle, even going out. They have the care, they have entertainment come in, they have the different things happen for them. It's a different life because of what they did, the choices that they made 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And so no different here. When you hear something like this, what are you gonna do if you're looking to make those changes? If you find you're good, got your thing locked, hey, kudos, more power to you. But if you're looking for something and you don't want to feel like you've been pulled in every direction, this is a steady place, a steady spot to kind of just zero in, start checking things out, and email, leave a comment, send a message. It's all there. We'll get back to you. All right. We won't leave you hanging. And try us and see. Test us and see what happens. All right. And I'm sure you'll find some good benefits here. So, my friends, think about this. Help someone with a service you already know. All right. The other thing that you can probably do, things you can think of as far as starting the journey. Help someone with a service you already know. Share knowledge from your experience. Sell simple products online. You start small. Stay consistent. And I'm sure you'll surprise yourself. Now, when it comes to the cream of the, I'll say the creme de la creme. All right. Someone said the cream rise to the top. Are you a cream? So the key to all of what I'm saying here tonight, whether you see it here or somewhere else, the most important thing is that taking action. All right. It's something about hearing something, understanding something, even believe something. But take action is what separates the what? The boys from the men, the girls from the ladies. All right. The ones who really want to see that change. The action taken is the key to the entire thing. All right. If you're gonna fail forward. You're gonna fail forward. All right. Now let's remove the pressure. All right. Let's take off the pressure a bit. All right. You don't need to figure everything out. Don't need to. You need to start moving. You got to start moving. That's the key to the thing. And there is a 1-1-1 rule, right? There's a 1-1-1 rule. I've heard about that 1-1-1 rule. One is this: the thing you learn. One thing you learn. How about that? Try to figure out one thing you learn. That's the first one. And one thing you build. And one step toward income. And that's it. All right. One thing you learn. What's the one thing you learn? The one thing you build. One step toward income. And that's it. That's a small step. All right. And that's what I did because there was no other way. All right. There was no other way. I can't say it here on this show because I don't believe in give my income disclosure online. I'm just not big on that. There are folks who feel like it can be a motivating factor if they give an income, I'm making X amount of money and this kind of thing. I'm just not the kind of guy. Maybe someday I may share something like that, but I'm not big on that thing. All right, it's just not me. Um, but one thing I realize is this: is that I called someone recently, and they told me about they were having some situation with their house, some major water underground was leaking, and they felt they were concerned because they were paying all this money and it wasn't really their fault. A company came in their home and they laid some pipes and it wasn't their fault and they caused a leak. So now this person's paying all this money and they realize that it has to be fixed. So I called the person back to say hello, what's up, what's going on with this situation? Have you contacted the right persons to get it taken care of? And the individual said, you know what? No. But at the same time, the individual said to me, get on the line right now. Get on the Zoom right now. Right? This is somebody I knew, right? Different state, but the fact that they said get on the line, I wasn't even sure what it was about. I got no context. I didn't know, but I something said get on the line right now, and I did. The person told me get on the Zoom and something sent me the link right away, and they actually didn't know I was going to go online, but I did. And the person said, Keith, in the past, I've shared so many things with you, but I never said yes. And the reason why I didn't say yes is not because I didn't say yes because I didn't want to do the thing. I looked at it and didn't feel it was for me. I could say you showed me 4 or 5 things already, and I looked at it, I saw it, I checked it out, but it wasn't for me. So because of those reasons, she didn't feel that she would share this with me, but because I called to check up on her, just to say hello, how is the thing going with the water, and they were having a meeting the right. I mean, they were having a meeting right there and then. She said, "Go online, check out this Zoom," and mm, life changing, life changing. All right. So I'm telling you something that I'm doing, that I'm practicing. All right. It's better you look and say no, not for me, than say I would have, could have. Maybe I should have. So that's something I try to practice myself before telling others. Action taking is a very powerful thing, and that's something that I really, really think it is going to change many lives when folks do that. So, I've been having these activities lately on my podcast. I've been giving them out, and I've tried it myself. I think they're pretty cool. I think it's empowering, and I'm getting benefit from it. So I figure you might get benefit too. So there's an activity that I want you to think about for the next 5 days. For the next 5 days, day one, identify one skill you can learn. All right, next 5 days, identify one skill you can learn. Day two, watch or study the skill for 30 minutes. Day three, take one small action using it. Day four, share something, post, message, whatever, an offer. Let's try it. All right, post a message, whatever, or an offer. Day five, reflect. What did you learn and what's next? All right, so that's your activity for the next 5 days. All right. Now, again, we showed you some partners that we are with, and again, whenever you watch this podcast, know that you also can use this to your advantage. You can use us. You can be a part of us. You can connect with us. And whatever exposure that you may be looking for, you can explore it here because we believe in doing so, exposing other folks, exposing people to what we have and to what they can be exposed to out there. Because folks are looking for things. All right, folks are looking, um, and they made us want what you have. But if you don't put it out there, how are they going to know? All right. So we have to adapt to it, the change, man. We have to adapt. We have to adapt. This is one of the podcasts. I mean, one of the blogs, and so therefore, there are many ways we're trying to reach and connect with folks because it's just the way to go. You know, we're not an island by ourselves. We're interrelated, interconnected, and we should find a way. We should find ways to maximize that, especially now, especially these days. All right. So we got partners. We got the WAMO. All right, to talk about partner that we give to. You know, we have Sandrine Dunkley. All right, HR. A lot of you looking for that HR help and work and insights and so forth. We have that as well. Right. So you're not just supporting a cause. All right, you're supporting opportunity. You're supporting growth, and you're also getting access. All right. So we excited for you, all of you who decided to join us here, and just hopefully use and maximize this network here. All right, to your advantage. Remember, we're here to leverage us. All right. We don't want you to be a spectator. We want you to be a participator, a participant. All right, participate, man. We want you to make it happen. All right. So my final thoughts for you today on the next level with Keith. It Let me leave you with this. There are millions of people in the world who give anything for the access you already have. Just imagine that. There are millions of people who will give anything for the access that you right now have. They would. Wi-Fi, a phone, information. Man, I think it's almost overload. That's not just convenience. That's opportunity. For us, it feels like it's just regular, routine, mundane, everyday thing. But I'm telling you, it's a huge opportunity. The question is, will you use it? Are you going to use it? You see, because look at this. The next shift is already happening. And just like streaming, those who adapt early win. Now it's what? Your move. I must say again, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking out me, checking my podcast out here. And you know what? When I see views, whether it's 1,000, whether it's 2,000, whatever it is, I don't know how much of it you're watching to get the full scope of it. But if you have watched this full length, I tip my hat. Kudos. I think you're on your way to success. In fact, I think you're on your way to unstoppable success. All right? Because a view doesn't mean it's being watched all the way. It doesn't mean that. But for those people who are hungry enough, you watch this 20 minutes, half an hour. Oh, I don't see how you're not going to win because you're hungry. And so it's your move. And let me say once again, thank you for stopping by the next level with Keith. I look forward to seeing you on my next episode, episode 18. And I look forward to hearing from you via email, or you can leave something in one of my hubs. Either way, we connect and we'll make it happen. You take care of yourself. Thank you, producers, engineers, those behind the scenes will make it happen. Make him look so good tonight. Thank you all. God bless, and see you on my next podcast. Bye.
If today's episode spoke to you, it's because you're ready. Ready for your money to work for you. Ready for practical steps, not just motivation. Ready for faith-led financial freedom. Ready to build stability, peace, and confidence for your family. You're not alone on this journey. The next level isn't just a podcast. It's a movement toward freedom, one episode at a time. Stay connected. Listen anytime at podcast.keithmerritt.com. Explore the Next Level Movement Hub. Subscribe on YouTube at Keith Merritt. Like, share, comment. Your engagement helps this message reach more families. Take your next step. Visit keithmerritt.com/impact/the next level. Subscribe for the latest blog from the Freedom Resource Hub. and join the Next Level Resource Network. Choose the hub that fits your journey: music and speaking, family protection, digital learning, passive income, or Keith's book and reading hub. Press play. Take action. Your next level is calling.